Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to start a new series of videos with a new topic and a revolutionarily new idea. I bet it's not, but definitely it is something that I thought would be on my channel. Plus I came up with the idea myself here, but potentially you may have seen it on other chess channels a lot of times. So, you know, if it's new and happy for it. If not, then I will try to do it well enough so that it's still well worth watching. So what I decided to talk about today was to introduce you guys a little bit into my chess library, because it is actually quite a pressing issue that nowadays people tend to try to learn chess online much rather than from books and coaches. And even if they do employ coaches like myself, they seem to be rather reluctant in engaging reading chess books, which I consider a crucially important way to actually develop your chess knowledge, and just overall to get better at the game. So what I'm trying to do with this series is that every single time I make a video, I'm going to pinch a book from my bookshelf, which is right behind, and I'm going to, once I have a better way to make videos rather than the webcam, I will actually show you my library. So I'm going to pinch a book every time I make a video, and I will talk about the book, so it will be a bit of a review but not trying to advertise much stuff. And I will always show something from the book, and I will tell you why the book is precious to me or why it's not, because I've got books that I don't particularly like. And yeah, we'll just go from there. And if you guys like the series or if you like the books, then you can make suggestions and so on. So for today I picked up an oldie but goodie, which is Dynamics of Chess Strategy by Vlastimil Jansa. This is what it looks like. And as soon as you see the name Jansa, you know that you are up for quality. Jansa is a very famous grandmaster, I believe from the Czech Republic, who gave up professional chess and later on became a professional trainer. He used to be, I think not anymore, the national coach of the Luxembourgian national team. And in general, just a very highly educated player who plays and teaches very sound and good chess. And I learned an awful lot of things from this book, which, by the way, targets middle game scenarios by teaching you openings, which is, by the way, the ultimate way to learn openings. And I would like to emphasize it now, that if you are a player who is aiming to become a professional or at least a title player, you need to learn openings well into the middle game. And you need to understand the structures that occur from the openings, and you need to understand what's going to happen in the game overall. So it doesn't stop on move 5. These analyses start at around 15. So that's where the actual analysis begins. Now, I could have shown you a lot of things, really. I mean, I learned so much from this book, but I just thought that because I don't really want to make this video very long, I'm going to show you something short, sharp, and at the same time hugely entertaining. He's talking about openings like Scandinavian, Perk, Alekhine, the ones that against Twitch as white, if you are an A4 player, you really want to have at least a small advantage against when you play the opening. And Jansa discusses this variation in the Scandinavian with early bishop d2, which I'm very fond of, by the way, too, mostly and vastly because of this very book and this very article, with the intention of exploiting this battery and do a swapperoo like this. Okay, now this is a very stock standard structure. A lot of black players love play like this, believing that they will have a kingside attack on the g file and they will castle here and it's awesome fun. I would like to say that in my opinion it's a fundamentally completely unsound opening for black's point of view, because black has got zero central control. He took on voluntarily took on positional concessions for which the compensation is at best vague. And yeah, the whole structure is lacking classical chess considerations in its entirety. Rules are there to be broken, but here black just overdid it a fair bit. And he considers this variation in contrast with the bishop c4 line, where very often what we find here is that in this structure, this bishop is very badly restricted by the pawns on these wide squares, and especially when it drops back here to b3, which is fine that if we can't crack black on these two squares, which we certainly can't if they play well enough, this bishop is just totally misplaced. And so Janza came to the conclusion that he needs to go back to this very position where he plays knight e4 after c6. He takes on f6 and then rethink where to deploy this bishop, and he came up with this idea of fianchettoing it, which I absolutely love, and I try to employ it in all of these Caro-Kann structures. And for the record, I would like to show you that this position could occur from the Caro-Kann too, and in fact it does do that far more frequently than from the Scandinavian when we have this. And obviously black is not going to play queen c7 right now, but if it did, and then I played bishop d2, then we would be back to where we were. So g3, the idea is to develop the bishop there and exploiting its fantastic potential on the diagonal in shape of a pawn storm that looks like this and cause damage against those pawns, especially if they were to castle there. Normally development then continues with e6, bishop g2, knight d7 and castles. This is stock standard. I've had many games like this on Lichess. And more often than not, my opponent decided to castle here. I played c4, they played this move, which is more often than not bad because it allows c5 followed by bishop f4, but also b4 followed by c5, a4, b5. I had a huge attack whilst they had absolutely nothing at all on the other wing, and I scored lots of very sweet victories. Now, if black wants to avoid this, they can try to sort of neutralize this very strong fianchettoed bishop by placing their bishop on e4. But this is actually a tactical blunder, and a beautiful one that I was to learn a fair few years ago from the great Janza from this book. What you need to know here is that after rook e1, black actually has to give up the bishop for the knight, which was not the purpose of bishop e4 in the first place at all. They were really hoping to make f5 work, which did happen in one of Janza's game, as well as in a Wonder Wheel. The famous Dutch grandmaster played one like this too. Oh no, I stand corrected, sorry, it was de Firmian, Nick de Firmian. And the point is that here white actually wins by force by executing a beautiful and swift attack. Knight g5, bishop takes g2, and here comes another very precious and valuable lesson, more from me than from the book. Remember that it's not checkers. You don't need to retake. Here the beautiful in-between move, rook takes e6 check, forces immediate resignation, because after retake, queen h5 check, black is going to lose at least the queen or get mated, depending on which type of death they prefer. So yeah, like this would be a classy mate, or this would be a classy loss of a queen. Either way, after rook takes e6, the position is resignable. Bishop e7, of course, is a move where I can just simply retake then and go from there. I could probably still play queen h5 and then go from there. So yeah, black is just hopelessly and utterly lost. Now, whilst this may appear to you more like an opening cheapie, the actual book offers you very detailed and very thorough analysis of a lot of crucially important openings, including Ruy Lopez, Grimfell defense, various lines of the Sicilian defense. Really an all-around awesome book with some entertaining stories, with some great games by the author. Really hugely recommended. The only problem with this book is that I would not touch it if I were less than 2100 FIDE, or maybe call it 2000 at the least, the very least, because it's tough, hard, and very detailed. But once you are up to that level, I reckon this is an awesome book to read, and I would highly recommend anyone to actually read it. I know it literally inside out. I have read it so many times, it's just I can't praise it highly enough. So once again, Janza, Dynamics of Chess Strategy, a fairly old book too, by the way. It would have come out at least a decade ago, 2003. So yes, I'm right with that. So if you liked the video, please let me know about it, because I'm planning on making many more of these. If you liked the book, please let me know about that too, if you happen to have it. If not, try to get it. there are a fair few places where you can get them very cheaply. I don't want to advertise those. I might mention them in the comments below. But yeah, in general, any feedback is welcome, and we'll go from there. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and I'll be back with more soon. Thank you.